Their fight at UFC 205 settled nothing.
This contest has been judged a majority draw.
Did you think you won the fight when we stopped?
I did. I thought I won 3 of the 5 rounds.
Look at that spinning back kick.
So you thought that you got nearly knocked unconscious.
Oh, we hurt him again! Goodness!
Nearly choked out.
Full in! Is this it? Oh man, that is so tight. He's gonna tap.
I pointed you, man. What you talking about?
So we fighting or we pointing each other?
It's still a fight. It's a game, baby. You know how to play the game.
Now, Tyron Woodley and Stephen Thompson will run it back for the welterweight gold.
He thinks I'm entitled that I begged for this fight. I was given the contract. I signed it, didn't ask for anything, didn't renegotiate, just signed it and sent it back.
I'm faster, I'm stronger, I punch harder, I'm a better wrestler, I'm a better grappler. I'm going the extra mile just to silence the haters and really put the nail in the coffin.
With Conor McGregor chasing a boxing match with Money Mayweather and awaiting his first child, undefeated Khabib Nurmagomedov will face off against 9 consecutive fight winner Tony Ferguson for the interim lightweight strap. The Eagle is a master of closing distance, holds the record for most takedowns in a fight,
Over and over again, just mauling him.
and beat Michael Johnson like no one else.
Michael should tap or he's gonna break his arm. He's gonna break his arm. Pin is all over.
El Cucuy danced his way to a 5-round domination of former champion Rafael dos Santos. And studying under Eddie Bravo has given the tough champion the kind of jiu-jitsu game to beat anyone.
He's got it! Ferguson!
This is the most comprehensive and entertaining pre-fight show on the world's premier 24/7 television channel, dedicated to the complete coverage of combat sports. It's UFC 209, Woodley versus Thompson 2, and it starts right now.
Hello everybody, I am John Pollock along with Cody Saptic, and welcome to our preview show as we are looking ahead to UFC 209. You will be hearing frequently from John Ramdine and Robin Black, who are down in Las Vegas covering the event from the scene of the crime. And Cody, we have 2 fights here on the top of this card, I think, that deserve lots of attention. These are 2 great fights, one being a rematch for the welterweight title and one in which we will install an interim championship. But I don't see too many complaints about the fact that this fight is happening, whether there's an interim title or not.
No, you got interesting storylines the whole way through. Any card with 2 title fights is going to be a fun card. But on top of that, you got the rematch between Thompson and Woodley, and obviously the 2 best lightweights in the world, not named Conor McGregor, kind of vying for that position to possibly face Conor McGregor, or at least just establish themselves as the top 155 pounders in the world. And if that wasn't enough for you, a heavyweight matchup between 2 former K1 champions in Mark Hunt and Alistair Overeem, it sells itself.
Yeah, this is a pay-per-view main card that has quite a lot of variety to it, and we can take a look. It's going to be going down from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, the site of UFC 200 last year, and of course, its main event will feature the rematch from UFC 205 at Madison Square Garden, as we have Tyron Woodley taking on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. The 234-year-olds fought to a majority draw back in November. It will be Thompson with the slight reach advantage, and now we send it down to Las Vegas to hear from John Ramdine and Robin Black to preview our main event.
Hey everybody, John Ramdine and Robin Black with you here in Las Vegas. The open workouts for UFC 209 went down at the T-Mobile Arena. We got to see the main eventers, the champion Tyron Woodley and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. What were you digging?
I was digging it all. When you get to see racehorses like these guys moving around and they sharpen their skills and they really sort of calibrate their weapons as they get closer to the fight. So you really see them at their best. They're a little depleted. Maybe they could use a sandwich and a glass of water, but you see them at their best. And these 2 look sharp. But I was reminded again how incredibly different they are. Woodley built around his attributes, Wonderboy built around fluidity, but I cannot wait to see this rematch, man.
The champion Tyron Woodley was very relaxed at the open workouts, and then we heard from the champion and his mental state going into Saturday's main event.
I mean, let's be real here. I mean, everybody want to be real. Let's be real here. Look at the promotion. Was this promoted towards the champion? Was this promoted towards the challenger? You know, you got to be real. To go back and look at it. Listen to the music. Give me your best shot. You know, every significant strike that was landed by my opponent, miraculously made the highlight. And I knocked him down 4 times in 1 round. Had him in submission trouble twice in 1 round, and completely annihilated him in the opening round. So I just think that at the end of the day, you got to go out there and fight and win. No matter what I say now, no matter what I say I'm going to do, no matter how the promotion went for the fight, I still got to go and fight, and that's all I'm focused on.
Well, it just seems like to me, with all the stuff that's been he's been talking about on social media, I just hope that his mind's right for Saturday. I want to fight the best, and I know things have been brought up in some of his conversations. I just hope that he's mainly focused on the fight. That way I am facing the best Tyron Woodley come Saturday.
You can make adjustments within fights, but I just don't think he's going to be able to make the wrestling adjustment, the grappling adjustment, the power adjustment, the timing adjustment, and the spacing adjustment. Those things that I can change in the fight, just because my entire career I molded it on being a complete fighter. So I do think he's going to be a little bit more aggressive. I think he's going to try to showcase a little bit more of his striking abilities, but I don't think he's going to grab any new rabbits out of the hat.
He's got a mean right hand, and he's fast. Everybody says he's explosive, but you really don't see it until you're out there. He's a fast opponent, explodes in there, and he's got good timing. I didn't realize his timing was that good. He actually hit me the second right hand, the one that put me down, in between exchanges as I was coming in. So I learned a lot from that fight, man, and we know what we got to do going into this next fight. Don't want to give too much, but you know what? Angles and counters, baby. Keep it at the end of my feet. Look for that takedown. You never know. You may see a takedown from Stephen Wonderboy Thompson out there.
Robin, the first fight ends in a draw. Both guys go back to the drawing board, and they're trying to figure out what didn't work, what did work. Stephen Thompson says he just didn't pull the trigger, that the goal is to land the kicks, to go after it. Is it important that he is aggressive in this rematch?
Aggressive psychologically, but defensive, I think, positionally. I don't think he wants to move too much towards Woodley. He wants to move on an outside angle, force Woodley to have to turn back towards him, intercept him, move his feet, and get away again. So there's an aggressiveness in the thinking, but not an aggressiveness in the movement. And his father, Ray, was talking about the adjustments that they made, and Ray is like, my son will never admit this publicly, but he wasn't himself. He wasn't at his best. And I think we're going to see him at his best.
Tyron Woodley said, of course, the game is to wrestle. I'm a wrestler. I know I can put anybody on the ground. The first fight, people kept asking, why didn't you wrestle more? He goes, I just didn't see it. He knew that Stephen Thompson was prepared. He'd worked with good wrestlers. It comes down to the details, and the details are, if you're not in position, why shoot a takedown? Why use extra energy instead of waiting for the opportune moment?
We talk about this often, about in our own nerdy way here at this network, about the strategies that people have. And when it's obvious to us watching it, obvious to the fans, obvious to the fighter and their team, it's obvious I should take this guy down. Well, that is going to get your opponent thinking that too. So Stephen Thompson was so concerned with the takedown, it gave Woodley the opportunity to throw his hand, land that punch, land that big power of his, and drop Wonderboy. And I think he builds on that. This is a guy who's deceptive in his ability to close distance. We talk about his power all the time, but he's so efficient and so technical. I think he builds on what he did last time. It's Wonderboy who has to make the changes, but I expect him to make those changes.
Thanks, guys, and we'll be hearing more from John and Robin later on in the program. We go back to UFC 205 back in November, Cody, and how did you score that fight that evening?
I think 2 of the 3 judges got it right, 47-47. I did have it as a draw. Obviously, Tyron Woodley winning rounds 1 and 4. Those are being the most decisive rounds of the fight, but I had Stephen Thompson winning 2, 3, and 5. That obviously does make it a draw, but very important to notice that under the new judging criteria, if that first round is down at 10-8, that 4th round is what I guess would be considered a 10-7, even if it's not. If everyone's on board that those are 10-8 rounds, well, now it just changes things completely. So very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's something to definitely take into account. The new scoring criteria, probably different scorecards. So we will find out, hopefully not a repeat of the debacle that we had at 205 if Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway maybe are there to read the scorecards. The pay-per-view is coming up on Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, with your main event, Tyron Woodley, Stephen Thompson, in a rematch for the 170-pound gold.
Coming up, Khabib Nurmagomedov will look to extend his undefeated streak and capture the interim gold against El Kukui Tony Ferguson. We'll hear from both fighters as well as Ramdeen and Black